hapa. Unajua biashara imekuwa vibaya sana. Unajua sasa vitu kama mandazi, chapo, unajua mimi napiga ngapo. Unajua sasa mtu akikunja anapata sometimes sasa ile chapo anakulanga iko na kasukari kidogo hakuna. Sasa watu wanaanza kutoroka hoteli. Wanaamua sasa acha kule pale pingine. Biashara imaripika. Hiyo sukari unajua imepanda juu sana. Sasa hata kwa poti inakuwa ni ngumu. Sasa makastoma wakunji, biashara imeanguka.
Stephen Omanyo, a cobbler in the area, says the financial strains has hindered them from investing necessary upgrades and also losing customers.
Pande wangu kama nikirudi upande wa biashara hizi imerudi kwa sababu napata ukienda soko vitu zimepanda. Haya, na unaanza kuja na material customer amekutuma, wakati unamfanyia kazi, unamaliza hiyo kazi, unapata customer ana pesa. Sasa hiyo kama viatu inabidi kaya hapo mpaka ule mtu wakati sasa anapata pesa, tena akikuja kuchukua hiyo viatu unapata ana pesa kutosha.
The concerns voiced by these business owners reflect a wider sentiment among small-scale entrepreneurs across the country. As small-scale business owners continue to navigate the challenging economic landscape, the hope remains that collaborative efforts and policy interventions will create an environment where entrepreneurs can thrive well. Reporting from MTAANI Radio News at 1, my name is Lamek Agutu.
Thank you, Lamek Agutu, for that story. Whereas Amnesty International Kenya and Human Rights Watch have expressed concern that nearly 2 months after a series of nationwide protests in Kenya, insufficient action has been taken to hold police officers and their commanders accountable for the use of force in the killing of at least 12 people, shooting and beating of many others. Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International Kenya are now calling on the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, IPOA, to urgently conclude the investigations into all deaths and unjustified use of force by the police.
And indeed, the National Police Service Act, second schedule, essentially protects all citizens and all human beings from the use of disproportionate and unlawful force. We would like also to remind the Independent Policing Oversight Authority the delays in the conclusion of the investigations into the events that we have described are essentially not providing closure nor justice for families like Edith and Joyce. And their question is a legitimate question, and we must, as mothers, fathers, as children of this nation, argue that there has to be no delay in dispensing justice and holding police officers accountable for the use of their firearms in an illegal manner. So we're here.
MTAANI Radio News at 1.
Moving on to another story, high cost of living is contributing families from low family income not to be in position to pay their house rents. This according to Virginia Wanjiku from Kabiria. Speaking to MTAANI Radio, Wanjiku says most of her clients are running away from their premises to avoid contact with her agents. Confirming to MTAANI Radio about the situation, Jacinta Wambui, a community health volunteer in Gatina Ward, Dagoretti North constituency, says most families are sleeping hungry, a move that needed to be attended by the respective authority. To children below 13 years, she warns the Disaster Management Nairobi County that they are in the high risk of shelter and other habitat demands.
Na wengi ukiangalia ni wale hawana uwezo. Hata most of them unamwangalia tu namna hii, unaona tu alikuja akiwa na njaa. Kwa vile kama sasa Kawangware 46 hapo unaona tu hata watu wengine wanalala njaa, na hata wengine wameshindwa na kulipa nyumba kwa vile hawana hata kitu ya kukula. Kama sasa nikinunua kitu nasikia huruma na gawia majirani. Kwa vile sasa zingine hata mtoto atakuja tu akaa hivi kwa mlango, na ukiwa mama unasikia huruma, na wako wengi wale wanakanja. Ombi langu ni kuomba tu kabisa wasaidie hata hao wenye wako wako pande hii ya Kawangware wapi wako na njaa.
And security departments in Dagoretti South have put strategies that will ensure crime cases reduced to zero. This is according to Alex Sopondo, chairman of Nyumba Kumi Elders in Riruta Ward, who has cited that a lot has been said about the issue, hence there is need to act on it and bring it to an end.
Hivi karibuni tulikaa chini tukapanga vile tunaweza kabiliana na hizo uhalifu, na tumeunda WhatsApp. WhatsApp tumepatia watu tofauti. Mimi nikiwa hapo CHVs, na what individual. Na kwa hiyo WhatsApp tumeweka messages zote uhalifu zinaenda kwa chief direct ama kwa assistant chief, na respond ni hapo hapo. Of late ile shida nimeona Kabiria, ile naweza sema uhalifu imekuja aina nyingi sana. Kuna vijana wanaenda wakichukuanga simu ya wenzao, kama wamepata, kama unapiga simu kwa barabara na kwa pikipiki, wanachukua simu yako wanapotea nayo. Alafu kuna vijana wengine watatu, isipokuwa hatujawashika lakini tutawashika, wamepanga karatasi nyingi sana kama pesa wamefunga na blada, na hiyo blada wameweka 1000 shillings ya bandia juu na ingine chini. Sasa wakiona kama unatoka huko watupe hii kitu chini, utaona kama ni pesa, ukienda kuinama uchukue pesa, my friend, wamekuangukia. Kwa wakati huu tuko kwa process kwa tafuta na tutawapata.
And residents of Dagoretti have been asked to be not to be swayed by controversial spiritual leaders that tell them not to go to hospital when they are sick. Speaking to MTAANI Radio, Thomas Wilson, a community leader in Kawangware, has expressed his concerns over the issue and warned that such pastors should be looked into with an inner eye.
Mungu alisema msinijaribu kwa mabaya, mnijaribu kwa mazuri. Sasa sisi tunamjaribu kwa mabaya. Sisi ni watu wameokoka, tuwezi shikwa na hiyo ugonjwa. Imeandikwa kwa kitabu gani hiyo? Ijaandikwa. So tufuate sheria. Mungu alihatarisha watu na aliandika kwa Biblia. Kwa nini tusifuate sheria mpaka makanisa zingine zinakataza watu wao? Hiyo tena ni hatari. Wasilete mambo ya makesi, watoe hiyo ya makesi. Sasa tulete mambo ile inaweza saidia hao wananchi wakuwe wazima. Hata wakiingia kanisa yako utaona kweli uko na watu wazima. Lakini wewe mostly watu ni kifua kikuu, watu wanagojeka. So lazima tufuatilie makanisa ikuwe kipao ya mbele. Tusivunje tu Yesu alisema.
This is the 99.9 MTAANI Radio. With this and more news in details, you can as well follow our Facebook page, MTAANI Radio, Twitter @MTAANI Radio. You can as well inform us whatever is happening around you through our studio number 0710606799. I'm taking a short break. I'll be back with more news shortly.
99.9 MTAANI Radio, MTAANI Radio, MTAANI Radio, sauti ya mtaa. MTAANI Radio, MTAANI Radio, MTAANI Radio, sauti ya mtaa. 99.9 MTAANI Radio, sauti ya mtaa.
Welcome again, dear listener. Water is life and provided for free by nature, but frequent droughts caused by climate change are threatening various sources of water, denying millions of people access to fresh, clean drinking water both in urban and rural Kenya. To cope with scarcity of water, China's women group adopted rainwater harvesting technique, one of the most efficient methods of easing the pressure of water scarcity and rising cost of living in rural areas. Our reporter Wesley Langat traveled to Njoro in Nakuru County to bring us a story of how a group of women are helping each other buy water tanks and install rainwater harvesting systems in their houses.
It is a cloudy Saturday afternoon in Kerima village in Njoro, 25 kilometers from Nakuru city in Rift Valley, Kenya's agricultural rich region. A dark clouds are hanging so low, bringing down the temperature, leaving a cool breeze as signs of unexpected heavy rain. When it rains, Beatrice Kerubo, a mother of two, collects water from the roof of her 3-bedroom house made of mabati roof. Gutters are placed around the edges of the building to collect rainwater and drain it into a 2,500 liters water tank installed beside her house.
As members, we didn't have water, so we decided to buy tanks for each member. Although it is a small tank, the rainwater collected is helping us a lot.
This village experienced acute shortage of water. During drought season, the situation gets worse, forcing Beatrice to spend between 100 and 200 Kenya shillings per day for water. Buying water is burdening many households who are already struggling with a high cost of living. Most of these families are still recovering from the impact of COVID-19 and a drought that is threatening their livelihood.
To stay with young children without water, life can become very difficult. and you need to wash their clothes, and you need to use the water in general cleanliness. In January, we get only 2 containers. Sometimes we missed. Even we can go to 2 to 3 days without water. We are told no power because where we get the water, the power bills haven't been paid. So when there's no power, we can't get the water. And then we end up struggling a lot looking for water. You have kids and you need to wash them. So it is very hard.
China's women group started in 2018 with the aim of helping its members address the poverty challenges and improve on their standard of living, pool their resources together towards solving water shortages through water harvesting technique. They started a merry-go-round of buying each member a water tank.
Kwa majina naitwa Selina Chemutai, ninatoka
My name is Selina Chemutai from Kerima Village. I am the chair lady of Kerima Sunshine Women Group, which was started in April 2018. In our village, we have problems of water shortages. As we are doing other activities such as farming and other development, we decided to buy water tank for each of us. Even if it is not a big tank, as women, it is a must to have water at home so that we can do other activities.
Hata kama ni si tangi ya kulima, mama ni lazima akuwe na maji nyumbani ndio aweze kufanya mambo zingine.
Selina Chemutai is the chair lady of China's women group, proposed the idea of buying water tank for the members in 2018. Each member contributed 500 shillings weekly towards the purchasing of the water tank.
Tulifikiria hivyo kwanza sababu hatukuwa na uwezo
We thought of that first because we did not have enough money to do big projects, but we started buying each member a water tank. We are 17 in total and each of us contributed shilling 500, and because not all of us were active, we bought a tank after 3 months before we buy another. That is why we are doing it slowly.
Sasa ile tulikuwa tunaenda polepole.
The group members are now employing rainwater harvesting technique as an alternative to improving access to clean drinking water and easing the cost of buying water. Once Chemutai acquired her tank, she now harvests enough rainwater for her family and the livestock.
Nilipopata hiyo tangi ikaweza kunirahisishia kazi.
When I got the tank, it is making my work easier because I have water all the time. Like us, we are farmers. The time that I will use to go fetch water in the river, I go to the farm because I have water for domestic use.
Kazi yangu ya shamba sababu maji ya nyumbani.
While Beatrice Kerupo, also a member in the group, is no longer traveling for long distance in search of water. Her children are still young and the tank enables her to get continuous supply of water for washing clothes and maintaining general sanitation.
I'm thankful so much, especially for someone like me with small children. You need to wash their clothes and change them regularly. I'm grateful because it has helped me during January when there's water scarcity. But God will help us so that we get more like this and we'll be all grateful.
The Sustainable Development Goal report for the year 2022 shows that in the year 2020, 74% of the global population were able to access safely managed drinking water services, up from 70% in 2015. In this context, water harvesting is a step toward adequate access to clean water. Monica says that her tank ensures continuous supply of water for drinking and hand washing during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Nowadays, I don't fish water in the river but rather during extreme drought seasons. Watching the tank has helped me maintain cleanliness even during COVID-19 when we had plenty of water for washing our hands. So I didn't spend a lot of money to buy water.
Kila wakati ni kunawa. Sasa nilifaidika sana kwa juu kupata hiyo upungufu wa pesa kwa juu nilikuwa na maji tayari.
Even during drought season, harvested rainwater is enabling her to plant vegetables such as skuma, spinach, and small fruit gardens using drip irrigation.
Kwa siku nilikuwa ninanunua mitungi 10.
In a day, I used to buy 10 containers of water at 200 Kenyan shillings. Sometimes I used a lot of water for general cleanliness, but with my tank, it helped me to save money. If I could get a bigger tank, I will expand my garden and plant indigenous vegetables.
Engineer David Kitau, Manager for Infrastructure Development at the National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority, a government agency that undertakes water resource storage and flood control, emphasized the need for provision of water to communities affected by drought.
So there are some projects and programs that have been designed by the minister, and mostly in the meantime, we have this construction of small dams and ponds, have storage capacity ranging from around 10,000 meter cubic per pond, and a maximum of maybe 50,000. And majorly to store the runoff water, but that's what we have been doing. So these major dams, if they are done, they would have these two purposes, so flood control and providing water for domestic and industrial purposes.
According to Water.org, a global non-profit organization working towards improving access to clean water and sanitation, shows that Kenya, with a population of 53 million people, about 28 million Kenyans lack access to safe drinking water, and 41 million do not have improved sanitation. As a way of responding to water challenges, National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority is promoting water harvesting among the rural communities in Kenya.
While implementing some projects, especially the small dams and ponds, and some projects that we call water for schools and communities, we usually have a program for sensitization. That although we are giving them this pan or a borehole, we also encourage them to they should do the harvesting and collect water from the roof catchment with the tanks provided. But in our small way, when we do that, we also sensitize the communities on the importance of rainwater harvesting. But there are challenges because I think first, we are talking of rural communities where maybe to afford that plastic tank may be a big issue, but we are trying to work with them and encourage to do the little they can do.
Mr. Kitau reveals that the government, through his agency, is embarking on implementing a master plan to capture rainwater by building small dams, partnering with public institutions such as primary school to install water harvesting equipment.
We should incorporate water harvesting from the roofs. We also encourage that they are all gutted and water is corrected at least for the local use. Then going further, is the other program is now to work with where the structures are. Thinking of water for a hospital, water for a school, then that's where now we will encourage water harvesting.
Mr. Kitau says that there is need for stakeholders, partners, and other government agencies in the water sector to create more awareness among the rural communities to embrace water harvesting. This will improve access to safe drinking water and cushion residents against harsh impact of drought.
The major gap, as we already reviewed earlier, is now the prioritization of water harvesting by the government itself. But now is the time to talk about a water sector. Stop being a water country to a more sustainable country.
Although water harvesting is a convenient and the most efficient way of providing water for domestic use in remote areas, a lot needs to be done to help more communities access water. The National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority is currently promoting rainwater harvesting across the country. Several water reservoirs have been built in conjunction with the other government agencies.
We are grants, especially with the new government. And our new president is talking of 100 mega dams that should be implemented through PPP. Because looking at the previous 5 years, though the other government had talked of about 57 dams. In fact, when you talk of completed dams, we are talking of Biba Dam, and there is a Karimena Dam and that has been completed. But generally, there are those dams that were even started like 10 years ago, but some of them are yet to be completed.
Mr. Kitau appealed for more funding to enable them meet their target. This feature story was produced by Wesley Langat with the financial support of the European Union. Its content are the sole responsibility of Wesley Langat and do not necessarily reflect the views of the European Union.
From the great suburbs of Dagoretti South to the world, this is 99.9 MTAANI Radio, sauti ya mtaa.
Rada ya weather.
Rada ya weather. Rada ya weather.
Rada ya weather.
Rada ya weather.